There are a lot of things new to our generation that allow older generations to go on in length about how everything was better back in their day. One of these things is hate. As someone who is privileged enough to upload videos to YouTube, I've received my fair share of hate. One of my favorites that I remember is someone wrote, "Go suck start a shotgun, you derpy bitch." In their defense, I did scream a lot in my older videos, for some reason. That being said, I receive a fraction of the hate than much better people than me do, which is just the worst. Internet hate seems to stem out of three truths. It's really easy. While watching Game of Thrones, within seconds you can send George R.R. Martin a death threat for letting them put in that White Walker baby scene, despite it not being in the book. If you had to bust out a scroll, quill, and raven, or even just set a typewriter to send your comment, you likely wouldn't. It's just too much work.
You send the ravens. That was your job. Your only job.
The ease of internet hate capitalizes on passion. In that moment, you hate George R.R. Martin and you want him to die for ruining your entitled ideals, but that hate will pass. This ties into the second thing. It's instant. The longer you wait to do something, the less likely it is that you'll follow through. It's like that internet rule where you should always masturbate before texting your ex-girlfriend. Sort of. Third, it's anonymous. Anyone can say anything without fearing repercussions because nobody outside probably the NSA knows who you are. This last one though is a bit weird. You might remember a couple of years ago, Google made the universally unpopular decision to force everyone on YouTube to use their Google Plus accounts, thus forcing real names on people. But it didn't really stop people from being assholes. With this seeming rise of hatred, it's easy for your parents to look at the internet and say, well, back in my day, we were decent folk. I don't know why your parents sound like rednecks, but I digress. I would argue that while the internet has certainly amplified our behavior, the hate has always been there, just in a different medium. The My Lai Massacre during the Vietnam War involved the rape, mutilation, and mass killing of between 350 and 500 unarmed civilians by United States soldiers. 26 soldiers were charged, but only Lieutenant William Cayley Jr. was sentenced to life, yet he only served 3.5 years under house arrest. On the other side of this, the 3 soldiers who tried to stop the atrocities were denounced as traitors by the United States government and received death threats and hate mail. Just like today, people trying to do the right thing, usually the unpopular thing, get hate on. Around the same time, Martin Luther King Jr. was also receiving piles and piles of death threats and hate mail, also for just being a good person. If you go to the King Center website, they have a whole section devoted to hate mail. Much of it is racist, anonymous, misspelled, hurtful nonsense, akin to anything you would see online today. That being said, there are wonderful summaries below each letter that summarize the letter in a much more civil tone. Like this one, seemingly written by a drunk 5-year-old, is described as, "The author of this letter negatively expresses his opinion for Dr. King and the civil rights movement, but was written as, the police should shoot more damn when they riot and attack police and whites. You are no Negro leader or preacher, you are an N-word rabble-rouser." It's a fun mix of horrible racism and old-timey insults. Another thing that isn't new, people hate and have always hated politicians, and 18th century politicians were not safe from hate mail. William Pitt became the youngest Prime Minister of England in 1783, and he received hate mail that bears a striking resemblance to today's hate in terms of grammar. I'll just read a bit. "I say, Billy, you infernal blackguardly son of a thief, you bottle-nosed lanthorn jaws pimping-looking rascal Prime Minister, egad, my old buck, you'll be getting alongside the devil soon, but he'll shave your timbers and give you a broadside." The letter was anonymous. Similar to cyberbullying today, poison pen letters are different from hate mail because they're usually written anonymously by someone that you know. Their intent is purely to upset people, which you would know if you also read Agatha Christie novels. They still exist today, albeit less popular, and a woman in London has been receiving them for the past 10 years. They criticize everything from her children's pink bicycles to her potted plant choice. But while these hate letters are anonymous, they do require time and effort, qualities lacking from modern internet hate culture. There is one type of hate mail, however, that can be viewed as the grandfather of modern internet hate: the Vinegar Valentine. Emerging out of the trend of sending your sweetheart a card on Valentine's Day in the 1800s, Vinegar Valentines served an opposite purpose. They were mean-spirited, a la carte insult cards. They insulted people for their personality, for their baldness, for their alcoholism, and some even contained death wishes. All of this was accompanied with equally grotesque imagery. One of my favorites is, "Your figure brings laughter from men, and what a mouth you've got for an oyster, so do hide yourself in a cloister, for I do not want to see you again." Such an eloquent insult. The popularity of these insult cards would eventually branch off into a series of incredibly anti-Semitic cards that make regular Vinegar Valentines look adorable. Vinegar Valentines rose to popularity as literacy rates improved among the poor. Now, this newly literate group of people had a cheap, quick, and easy way to insult people with a la carte messages. Though before 1840, the receiver of the Vinegar Valentine had to pay to receive the piece of mail. They had to pay a penny to be insulted. They didn't need to spend their time laboriously crafting insults, but rather just pick out a card and send it, albeit not as fast as tweeting, but pretty good for the 19th century. If anything is to be pinpointed as the origin of hateful comments, it's literacy. As more and more people have access to the tools to express themselves publicly, the more their emotions are published, hate or not hate. As to why haters hate, that's a whole other video. So will haters always hate? I think it's pretty clear that literacy shouldn't be sacrificed in an attempt to stop haters, and since haters will hate even if they're not anonymous, and without removing all the interactive elements of the internet, I guess all that we can do is shake it off. What do you guys think? Will haters always hate, or is there a way that we could be better, more supportive people? Let's start by being nice in the comments, and if you haven't already, be sure to click right on my face to subscribe, or at least think about it.